What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the third playoff preview of the day. I just want to apologize real quick about the last video. Nothing bad, it's just one of those nitty-gritty things that grinds my gears when I forget something. I forgot to mention, obviously you see like right here I have the playoff series in the first one, Colorado and at Nashville I had a playoff series. I forgot to mention why I didn't add the playoff series for Minnesota and St. Louis. Minnesota and St. Louis met in 2015 and 2017, both in the first round. Minnesota won in 2015 in 6 games. St. Louis won in 2017 in 5. Why I didn't mention those is because the teams back then, I decided my limit was 2018 as the end of that. It's basically the end of the, as I like to call, 30-team era. 2018, Vegas comes into the league, and that's where I kind of mark off the era. And also, Minnesota looks so different back then; it wasn't even comparable. And even St. Louis, there's only not many players of that team were there, so I decided just not to include them. However, we do have one here, which we'll get to when we get to it. Moving on. So Calgary and Dallas. Calgary, the first team in the Pacific. Dallas, this is the first wild card. Both Nashville, not Nashville, essentially the Nashville of Canada. Calgary had what we'd like to call the should-have-been season, what they should have been the past 3-4 years. 2019, they were exactly like this, except they won the West, and they were even 2 points worse. This year, they're third in the West with 2 points better than that year because everyone's great this year. But this year, they lived up to what they should have been last year, what they should have been in 2020, and Dallas has done exactly what I expected them to do. But I expected also for them to I guess in my predictions video, by the end of the season I did not have the same hope for Dallas as I did at the start. But they still made it either way. So Calgary, first in the Pacific, third in the West, sixth in the league. Dallas, fourth in the Central, seventh in the West, 15th in the league. Goals for, Calgary is sixth, 293. Goals against, Calgary is third with 208 with a plus 85 goal differential. Dallas, on the other hand, goals for 21st at 238, goals against 13th with 246, and the goal differential is a dreaded -8, the only team with a minus in the playoffs. Factors for these teams: Calgary, offense, defense, goaltending, coaching, motivation, depth. This is the most complete Calgary team I think I've seen in my lifetime. It's better than, well, the only thing that might be better from 2019 is the goaltending. Mike Smith was a beast that year, and it kind of fell apart in the playoffs and when they blew it against Colorado in 5. But that was a Calgary team that the only thing they had differently was that they had Sam Bennett, but in return they got a ton more than Sam Bennett in this. Bringing in Tyler Toffoli, they brought in Ryan Carpenter for some solidified fourth line depth. Callie Yarncroke, who is I want to say cousins, I think, some sort of cousin with, is it Lindholm, I think, Elias Lindholm. And yeah, speaking of that, Lindholm, Gaudreau, Kachuk, all have 40 plus goals this year. That's incredible. On that line is just insane. And it just gets more dangerous as you look down the lineup, as you see pieces like Backlund, who was there from the 2015 days. You have Toffoli, as I mentioned, Yarncroke. There's a ton of depth on this team. Only thing I have for Dallas I could come up with, no pressure. When you're going up against a team like Calgary, there is no pressure against you. However, for Calgary, there is a lot of pressure after the disappointments of the past seasons. 2019 was unexcusable. 2020, they actually played Dallas in the first round of 2020 after beating. Who did they beat in the bubble? Who did they beat in the bubble? Why am I blanking on this? They beat Winnipeg in the bubble. That's right. They beat the injury-riddled Winnipeg Jets, who lost Scheifele and Laine, so they really didn't stand much of a chance. But then they went on to play Dallas, in which they were this close to having a stranglehold on the series, and they blew that as well. So they lose in 6 in the first round in 2020 against Dallas, and they met this year 3 times. The first match was in Calgary on November 4th, 2021. Dallas wins that one 4-3 in overtime. And then the second meeting is in Dallas on February 1st, 2022. Calgary wins that one 4-3. And then in Calgary for the last meeting on April 21st, 2022, Calgary beats Dallas 4-2. So overall, it was pretty close during the regular season. However, in the playoffs, will it be this close? We'll see with my predictions. I want you to leave your comments down below. Who do you think is going to win this series? Is this an even close series? And will Calgary screw this up possibly again? I'd like to thank you guys for watching this one. We have one more Western Conference one coming up, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a break myself because pumping out videos does get kind of... And we want to rest your voice because you don't want to lose your voice, and yeah. But that's all I have for you guys for this one, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.